Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. The Springboks beating Scotland 32 points to 50. A scoreline which maybe doesn't necessarily reflect the match. A match where the Boks, maybe not at their best, to be perfectly honest. We've seen them play a lot better this year, but a little bit of rust early on, and it didn't look like particularly difficult conditions, but pretty poor handling over the game. But at the end of the day, the nuke squad, so to speak, did its job. You know, it's the power game from the Boks was always going to be a lot for Scotland to try and contain, and at the end they just couldn't. So job done as far as the Boks are concerned. 32 points to 15, scoring 4 tries. You're not going to complain about that result, but it was a performance where I think there's room for a lot of improvement, especially for a side that's beaten the All Blacks twice this year, for example. You know, that's beaten Ireland. And Scotland were good at stages, but if Scotland were better, I think Scotland didn't have their best day. I think a couple of better passes, a few mistakes potentially from Scotland, and I think it actually could have been quite a close game, to be brutally honest. And that in itself is quite interesting. So we're going to move to the play rates a bit shortly, but before that, we're going to break the game down a little bit in terms of what happened when. Before we do that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. It was a perfect start, really, from the Boks. An early couple of set pieces, and bang, all of a sudden, cross kick from Andre Pollard to Makazole. He goes over in the 3rd minute, and we're thinking, right, there we go. Things only get worse for Scotland after Scott Cummings was yellow carded initially and then upgraded to a red card. It's a 20-minute red card, though, so he was replaced. But after that, Scotland getting back-to-back penalties in the 16th and the 21st minute. Before Thomas the Toy got himself a try. A really poor line-out, ironically. Went through the hands of Franco Mostert, but backwards through the hands. Wasn't the best throw from Bongi Minambi. And very good reactions from Thomas the Toy, who managed to grab the ball, looked up. There was nobody ahead of him, and he dived over. Pollard adding the extras to make it 12 points to 6. But Scotland just didn't go away. I think that's the main thing. You know, Russell then added a penalty in the 32nd minute. The biggest difference, I think, throughout the game is that the Boks kept managing to find tries, and Scotland were basically replying with penalties. And right towards the end of the half as well, a really, really good move. Line out, bit of space in behind, a couple of phases, and then Vinny Leroux, so clever. Seeing the vision, Maximo Pimpi was kind of like looping sort of behind him around, basically, towards the left-hand side, and basically just chipped it into the space that Pimpi did. Ran on. It was a really good try assist. I don't think people are actually appreciating just how good it was from Villaroo. And then bang. So half time, you're thinking 19 points to 9. Game should almost be in the bag. Start well in the second half, and we can get cooking. Start well is what we did not do. You played really, really badly for the first 15-20 minutes of that second half. Finn Russell added a penalty in the 43rd minute. Maximum Pimpi got a yellow card. So we were down to 14 men. Once again, Russell adding another penalty. Suddenly 15 points to 19. All of a sudden, Scotland are in the game. You know, a converted try and they were in the lead. And the Boks just didn't play particularly well, you know, in the second half. They were making silly mistakes. Handling errors were really prevalent. We just couldn't really get a grip on the game, to be honest. But eventually, you know, slowly but surely, the scrum was always going to be the dominant force for us, and it was against once today. Every single time we had an issue, you just went to a scrum, won a penalty, kicked us out of danger, for example. Pollard then kicked 2 penalties in the 64th minute and the 73rd minute, and then right towards the end, again, we went to the scrum, and huge effort, basically scrummed them over the line, and all that Visa had to do was basically just pick it up and dot it down in the 79th minute. Pollard then adding the extras, so final score 32 points to 15. As I said, it doesn't maybe really reflect the game, because I felt Scotland were in it for most of the game, to be honest, up until maybe that second Pollard penalty, you know. But 60 minutes at 15 points to 19, 20 minutes to go. Scotland looked really up for it, and the Boks were making some really uncharacteristic errors where it didn't look like we were particularly up for it. So, selection conundrums, I think, a little bit for the coaching staff. I don't think they expected us to be that poor at times. And I think if Scotland were slightly more on it, you know, a couple of Hugh Jones passes, which is very uncharacteristic, not going to hand. With Duan van der Merwe finding space down the left-hand side, a different day, those passes go to hand, they score, for example, and it could have been a different game. So if we look at some of the stats, quite interesting. Territory-wise, Scotland actually had more. Boks with 56% possession, though. Set-piece-wise, 100% scrum rate. The scrum is so good. We all know the scrum is so good, and it was no different today. Absolutely world-class. Lineouts weren't great. 82% lineout percentage. Scotland was 92. So lots to work on, I think, with regards to our lineouts. If we look at some of the other stats, for example, post-contact moves quite similar. We had the same amount of line breaks, a similar amount of ball carries, for example, very similar amount of passes. So it was quite a game of both teams equally playing well and badly at different times. In terms of turnovers, 16 turnovers lost from Saka will be a worry. And 11 penalties conceded there. Discipline got a lot better in the last 15 minutes because previously we were getting pinned quite a lot, and that's usually a result of pressure. But defensively, tackles made 125 to Scotland's 148, missing 26. Scotland actually had a higher percentage, but we scored the try. So I suppose you're not going to complain really when we didn't concede a try, but far too many penalties in the red zone, which is what kept Scotland in the game. In terms of individual performances, Evan Etzebeth was absolutely gigantic. Such a world-class player. Put in a massive shift, just kept battering them over and over again. Played a full 80, the only forward to do so. I thought that Pimpy still looks really, really good. Vilu had a very hot and cold game. He had some really, really good interventions, a couple of bad sort of missed tackles, a couple of poor kicks, but I thought generally it was quite good. I do think we'll probably see Appley at Fassi next week. I thought Hodge Apollo struggled a little bit. Jane Henderson probably had the worst game I've seen him in a Bok jersey, which is uncharacteristic from him because he's usually very classy, especially at test level. But the main thing is to get the result, isn't it, at the end of the day, which we did. And at 15 points to 32, it's a 17-point win. So you're not going to complain about it. But I think the main thing from a Bok perspective is lots and lots of room for improvement. And hopefully we will see that improvement next week against England. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. And what do you guys think of the game itself? Let me know in the comments. Let's get into the player ratings, shall we? So basically how the player ratings work, if you are new around here, is there is a link in the chat. So go and click on it, obviously. And you can go and vote for basically every single player rated between 1 and 10. Obviously 1 being poor, 10 being great. And what happens is it basically averages out all the different votes. So if there's 100 votes, for example, it'll give you what the average vote is. And that kind of produces the final rating that we're then going to see tonight. So we've got two players, by the way, nominated for the match. We've got Evan Etzebeth and Marcus Pimpy in the chat. And so we're going to talk a little bit about all the different players very, very shortly. And welcome, Swanik Swanepoel, to the latest Forever Fan. Welcome to the club. Nice to have you. I'm just quickly sorting this out. And I'm just going to get my player rating sorted. Where's my player rate? I've lost my... there it is. There's my player rate. No, man, I just closed it. Steven, idiot. And where's my link again? I have to open that again. Getting there. Apologies, people. This is tough times, apparently. And here we go. I will be with you guys in a second. And where's my player ratings? I've lost it again. Oh, there it is. Full screen. There we go. And I want to move to this one. I want to hide that. I want to open this up. Not having a good time here in the slightest. What is going on? Now I'm frozen. And we're back. Right, here we go. Making progress, people. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Apologies for this. It's not usually an issue. There we go. Right, there we go. That's what it looks like, by the way. So you got all our players over here. And we're going to go give everybody a rating 1 through 10 is the chat. And so here we go. We'll start with Ox and Chair. I'm going to bring up my app and get some stats on them. But scrummaging-wise, he remains, for me, the best loose head in the world at the moment. absolute demolition job with the scrums. So another good shift out there for good old Oxenchair. And where we at? Here we go. Right, so Ox's game in the loose, for example, he had one carry, 8 tackles though, and missed just one, turnover 1 as well. But I thought very, very good generally. So I'm going to give Ox, I'm going to start off with Ox on a 7. So I thought scrummaging wise, which is his main job, was very, very good. So you guys have all given him a 7 as well. We were having issues with this platform with the plugin earlier, so I hope it sorted itself out. If I'd gone with a 6, what would have averaged out to? Ah, okay, cool. No, we're aligned. We're aligned, so no issue there. So we all agree on a 7. There we go. It's a nice start. Bongi Imbanambi. A couple bad lineouts. It's a bit of a quiet game for Bongi, to be honest. I'm probably going to give him a 6. I think it's a little bit average. Sounds a bit harsh, maybe, but 5.9. We're pretty aligned here. I thought he was just quiet, uncharacteristically quiet. His lineups wasn't great, and 1 carry and 2 tackles. So literally had a very, very quiet game. Moving on to now, I've lost my where's the ratings gone? There we go. And now it's ads popping up. It's a disaster. Right, Bongi even number. Yeah, Thomas Atoy. Well, he scored a try, so you always get an extra point for me in my books if you score a try. He had a 3 carry, 7 tackles, missed the 1 tackle, but I'm going to give him a 7 alongside with Oxenchair. Scored that try. I think it's 6.9. People are going a little bit low, which I think is quite harsh. Eben Etzebeth. Oh, what a performance. Why do you keep jumping? What a performance from Eben Etzebeth. Absolutely seismic player. Let's look at these numbers. 10 carries, 11 tackles, not a single missed tackle, 2 turnovers, 1 as well, 2 defenders beaten, offload. I'm going to give Eben an 8. In fact, probably should be a 9. I'm going to give him a 9. Very, very good work there. Well, apparently my 9's not enough to bring him up from an 8, but I don't mind an 8. Right, Franco Mostert. Well, he looked like a player coming back from injury, which he is. Had some good moments, but generally quite a quiet game from him. As usual, didn't miss any tackles. Missed 1 mistake at the line, although I don't think he was the best throw. I'll probably give him a 6. Don't think he was fantastic today. You guys are agreeing over there. Right, Marco Verstappen. I thought he was very quiet. I think that lots of people may had the opportunities to put their hands up today. I don't think he really did it, so I'll probably give him a 6 as well. Not his best game. 5.6. Yeah, you guys are all agreeing with over there, so not as best. Ulrich Lowe, also a little bit of a quiet game. Got a lot of work at defense, to be fair to him, so maybe a bit harsh. Generally, was quite good. I think he's definitely elevated his profile with the box. I think he's become quite an important player. I'm going to give him a 7, actually. The more I think about it, the more I think it was pretty solid. 6.4, yeah. Probably about right. Quagga Smith, well, we know he's more of an impact player, but, generally, got his 50th cap. So started the game. Got through a lot of work as usual, but wasn't maybe at his best, so I'll probably give him an average 6. You guys agreeing there. So we're pretty aligned so far. Jaden Henderson. Now, I'm a big Jaden Henderson fan, and I've got no doubt that Jaden Henderson is going to play all the games for the Boks. Many, many games. He's a 50 cap Bok. That is the reality. And something wrong with my mic. I mean, something's wrong with my mic. Still something wrong with my mic. It's one of those days, isn't it? I think it's back now. I think we're okay. Let me just check. Yeah, it seems to be sorted itself out. Let me know if there are any other issues. But I think we're okay. Yeah, let me know if there are any issues. I can, from my side, it all looks to be working again properly. So if it's not, then let me know. But I think it's sorted itself out. And we need to get back to where's our player ratings? There we go. Right, so Hendrickson, where are we talking about Hendrickson? Yeah, I thought it was pretty poor. As I said, I've got no doubt he's going to play many games for the Boks. I do rate him very highly, but yeah, not a good game for him. I'll probably give him a 4. So he's going to get 4.8 as the average thing, so not much you can do about that. Then Pollard. Yeah, I thought he was pretty poor today, to be honest. He missed a couple of tackles, apart from the cross kick. I mean, he had an early assist, which was cool, and we're like, cool, that go off to a good start. But after that, I don't think he really did much, to be honest. Missed 5 tackles. What has happened to Pollard tackling? That is pretty dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. So I'm going to give him a 4 as well. So Pollard's going to 7.1. How? How? How's he getting a 7.1 and you've got like Ulrich Lowe is getting 6.4, Quackers from the 6.0. I mean, he kicked 83% kicks, but I mean, I thought he was pretty poor today, to be perfectly honest. I find that a bit of a strange one. So, yeah, I'm a bit perplexed about that one, must admit. Right, let's move on to Maxima Pimpy. He had a really strong game, though. Really strong game. And apart from the yellow card, which to this, I still don't know what his yellow card was for. But 2 tries from the man. Missed a couple of tackles. Defensively wasn't great, but got 2 tries. You got to give him an 8, don't you? Yeah, you scored 2 tries. 8.1. There we go. Stop jumping. And Andre Esterhazen. Again, I thought he had a decent game. I thought he was actually very good with his offloading today. 12 tackles, just the 1 missed. I thought he was really strong. In fact, I'm quite tempted to give him an 8. The more I think about it, the more I thought he actually had a pretty good game. I think Damien Delinde will start, and people agreeing. Yeah, good. I think he was strong. What are we saying in the comments over here, people? Audio seems to have sorted itself out, by the way. John says, Pollard is a 7 based on his name, poor game management. King Pile's going with Pimpy with an 8. Nicholas said, Pollard's defense is always poor. He misses so many tackles. Yeah, not impressed with Pollard's efforts for today. He'll be back next week. I'm sure he'll start. But I thought Esterhazen was good. I thought he was one of the players who was given a chance there and took it. I think we'll see Damien Delinde back next week. But I thought that Andre Esterhazen really did take his chance. Lekanya I thought had quite a strong game defensively. He had a very important turnover. Made a couple of good tackles. Had one nice little run. 2 defenders beaten. You will see Jesse Quee back next week. But I thought Lekanya was pretty solid. 6.9. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. It's one point off. Kane Moody was quite busy, actually. Let's have a look at his stats over here. Carries must be at least 4 or 5. 1 clean break. 4 defenders beaten. 54 meters gain, 1 clean break. Yeah, 6 tackles, 1 missed. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty strong game from Kane. Didn't do his. I think a bit harsh. Some people going with a 6 instead of a 7. Maybe a little bit harsh. Going some of the comments over here. Manafka saying Esterhazen was definitely good today. Some guys still on the thing. Now apparently I'm a Pollard hater. You know what the funny thing is about? You know what I love about this career is that in the chat I'll have half the chat telling me I hate a player, and I'll have the other half of the chat telling me I'll defend a player. So it's so funny, you know. So my hatred of Andre Pollard, because he had a bad game. He didn't play particularly well, and I'm saying he didn't play particularly well. Now I've got hatred of Pollard, apparently. It's just like I was told a Billy LaRue hater, and in the same comment section where I said you just hate you hate Billy LaRue, somebody in the same comment section was like, you will defend Billy LaRue for anything, he's a terrible player, and you still rate him. So it's fun out here. CS says Polly was a 6. DD said needed to be subbed much earlier, could not get going because of his poor performance. I think talking about Jaden, I assume, because there's no other backline player that could have been really subbed earlier, given the fact that there were no other options to come on. We then got Billy LaRue, who was all or nothing a little bit. Try assist, very good try assist. Missed a couple of tackles though. Had a couple of nice moves. Yeah, I generally thought he had quite a strong game. Maybe that one sort of, it was about a 5-minute passage of play where I think he missed 2 of his tackles and had a pretty poor kick. But I thought, overall, I thought he was pretty good. Now, he's going to get a bad rating. 7.1, I'll take it all back. I'm his back, you guys. You guys know what you're chatting about. Yeah, I thought that he generally would manage the game very, very well. And the try assist, maybe, I don't know why I like it so much. I just think it's the vision of seeing the Pimpy's coming around, seeing 3 players ahead of him, and not looking for the pass, for example, having the presence of mind to say, you know what, when Pimpy's going to get there, I'm going to chip over the top, and you just run straight back onto that. So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. You know what, if you think I'm a Pollard hater, then think I'm a Pollard hater. I actually couldn't give a damn, to be honest. I'm not going to argue. about that one. So I think Monty Learbox should have started today. Yes, I said so. And did Pollard play well today? No, he didn't. I don't know if that makes me a Pollard hater for saying that somebody who played poorly. But anyway, you do you. You do you. Whatever's going to make you sleep at night, Chief. Let's move on to the bench. Malcolm Marks. Solid game from Malcolm. Brutal is probably the best way of describing Malcolm Marks. But strong game. 8 tackles, none missed, couple of very good tackles. I'm actually probably looking at probably an 8, actually. I thought Malcolm Marks was really good off the bench. Maybe a 7 is probably a bit fair. Yeah, 7.1. Maybe I'm being a bit generous. Gerard was pretty solid as well. Didn't do too much wrong. The scrums were good. I'm going to give him and Vincent Clark high rating simply because the scrums continue to be good. So I'm going to give him a 7. And I'm going to give Vincent Clark a 7 as well because the scrums just continue to be good. Arcus Neyman. Oh, what a player. What a player. The offloads, the way, I don't know how he does it, to be honest. He's trying to. You know he's going to try and do it. That's the one thing about Arcus Neyman. You know it's coming. You know that little chicken wing and hands through the tackle is coming. But how do you stop it? You know, it's so impressive. So I thought he was very good. I'm going to give him an 8. 7.1. Apparently I'm being generous. So yeah, a bit of a more quiet game than we're used to. Probably give him an average 6. Wasn't bad, wasn't great. PSF for Toy, probably similarly as well. Couple of nice carries, but they are better starters, aren't they, at the end of the day? First sort of really build an innings type of players. So yeah, and then we've got I thought Espavisa was very good when he came on. Characteristically, he's carried very strongly. 8 carries he made in his 35 minutes. 5 tackles, just the 1 missed tackle. Scored a try, obviously, so I'm going to give him a 7. Thought he was pretty decent. 7.4, you guys got a bit high. And then Grant Williams, I thought, up the tempo a lot. So I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Thought he played nicely off the bench. 7.3. Then Rassie Erasmus. Now, this is going to be a controversial one in terms of rating Rassie Erasmus. Because now we're going to talk about the team selection, for example. And I don't think we necessarily got the team selection right today. We did try to give people a chance, which is always good, and it's a nice thing and stuff. But I don't think it was the right collection of players, to be honest. I think that the pack struggled a little bit, which is quite uncharacteristic. And I think if we had gone with a stronger pack or more sort of settled pack, then I think it would allow our backline to obviously get going a bit better. So it's hard to be critical of a 32 points to 15 performance. The bench, for example, definitely did work. And yet, I do think there could have been a better team selection. So I'm going to give Rassie probably a 7. It was an amazing team selection. It got the results at the end of the day. 6.7. So you guys have actually got lower than I have, which is... Yeah, I think you, and we have to be honest, you know, and no one's got called them to be sacked, for example, but you know, we got the job done. And look, again, you know, there were lots of individual errors. So, the handling was shocking, and you can't do much about that as a coach. On the day, if they just start dropping balls, they start dropping balls. But I do think that the team, it was a bit of an experiment, I suppose. I don't think it really worked at least as well as we'd like to have. So that's what I've gone with a 7, maybe a 6 with him. A couple of people are saying, Brett says, for this game, a 6 for Rassie, but for the overall vision and plan he's working on, it's a 10. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You can kind of see the thinking, you can kind of see the long-term planning, but for this particular game, which is what we are rating on, selection probably wasn't the best. Ultimate Sharpshooter saying, selection was a little too risky, but also the bench wasn't quite effective. Took us something like 25 minutes to score a point, even when we had ascendancy. Beast was Williams being rested for Hendrickson. Why was he the first choice? He always tends to finish games as Grant Williams. I think he's only started 2 games in his career. So, yeah, and there we go. So that is the full time score. And those are our ratings. So the last thing we're going to do is award a man of the match. And we've got 464 votes. So I'm going to go through some of the comments in the meantime. Let's see if we can maybe get to 500 votes. Would be quite cool. So last chance to get your votes in, people. I'm going to go through some of the comments. And Corky's saying, I was surprised with Scotland's performance today. So MC's saying, I think Rassie didn't get this one right, but hard to complain. It's a win. 100% to be fair. Tyrant saying team was good, just players didn't produce. I think also, to be fair, it was a situation where some players didn't necessarily rock up, but again, Peter Step the Toy starts, Khaleesi starts, Jasper Visa starts, and I think we've got probably a better pack. That's going to get going from the beginning, and I think that'll allow our backline to be a little bit better. So we could have been a bit better. I think we could have had a stronger team, which obviously we all kind of know. That wouldn't have been the team to start a World Cup final. But we got the performance and we got the job done, which is the main thing. So the final thing I'm going to do here is going to award the Forever Sports Man of the Match. This might be the closest poll ever. So I've just ended it. And let's see what... So Maxwell Pimpi has just pipped Ebenet Smith with 51% of the votes. 481 votes. You guys choosing the man of the match. Not me. Not me. You guys choosing the man of the match. This is your channel as well at the end of the day. Unless you disagree with me, in which case, I'm just going to get angry and tell you you're wrong. I'm joking. We can all take criticism. Sia, a couple of comments before we go. Sia saying, not a good day in the office, but we won by a good margin. We just hold the boys to a high standard because we are the best team on the planet. 100%. I think that's probably the main thing, isn't it? It wasn't an awful performance, but we're so used to being the best team in the world, which we are. And we'll go back to number 1 in the world as well. So that when we don't produce quite the same performance, we sit there going, needs to do a bit better. And we do it. We have to hold ourselves to a high standard. We have to. Because what's the point of being world champions and the best team in the world if you don't hold yourself up to those standards? And I think that's kind of the main thing, isn't it? That we've been saying throughout, is that it wasn't a terrible performance. The winning margin was great, but we expect more from this team. And we're hoping that next week, hopefully, we will get more from this team. We're going to wrap it up there, people. Thank you very much for joining me for the coverage throughout the weekend and for today. We will have some quotes or audio from Rassie Erasmus a bit later on the game itself. So keep an eye out for that. The Pro Teams won today as well. Manchester United won today. I won my cricket match if anybody cares. So I actually had a really good day. And I'm going to go and eat. That's what I'm going to go do. Because it is Hopper Stage and I'm going to go and chill. So tomorrow we will restart the process and look ahead to England. Possible changes. 7-1 split, 6-2, 8-0. And big pressure on Steve Borthwick because if they lose 3 in a row, then, after losing to Australia yesterday, this game's become quite spicy because England are desperate to respond. And they've got the world champs coming to them. So things are not getting any easier for England, but it's down to us to make it a hard time for them. But people, keep well, keep safe. We'll see you guys tomorrow as we build up to another game. Still got 3 weeks of international rugby. Let's enjoy the final few weeks of it before we then have that 6-month sabbatical, which I'm not looking forward to. But hey, what can we do? Anyway, people, we'll see you guys.